Greetings and salutations and happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars and Turkey. Sure, we'll go with that. Canucks with turkeys, turkeys with guitars. All the above? None of the above? No, all of the above. I'm Ben. That's a plate of food. And that's Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice looking plate.
Turkey.
Yeah, it's got all the kinds. All the stuff. Yes. In the chat, we have Mohogany, Octopus Ears, Verd Burfel, Vin's RJ, Scott Brockway, Joe Hervey 84, LRM Guitars, BC Rich 581, Michael Kroos, Josh Tanberg, Charles 75N, Patrick Treitz, Cushman NYC, Guitar Man 45, Billy Baloney,
All the cool kids.
all the pre-gamers. There's a whole crowd in here. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Blackjack Guitar.
Cheers,
Oh,
Octopus.
excuse me, that's all the heartburn. It was all the onions. All the onions. That was wow, y'all were just talking forever. Kevin Ramsey, hello, welcome. Will Varela, House of Twang was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here because that was like an hour and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson 59, good to see you. Sunny Northern Illinois. Well, it might have been sunny. It was sunny earlier. Cold, but sunny.
Yeah.
You know you're Canadian when it's 55 out and you're out in a t-shirt going, it's not bad.
Or shirt still.
Yeah.
Mid-70s.
Well, no, it's one of the, the sun felt hot, but it was the cold was in the air. And as soon as it moved, it was like Arctic breeze with a California sun.
Yep.
So, yeah. William Silva's here. Good to see you.
Cheers, Blackjack.
Billy Baloney
Billy
says, I thought
Baloney.
Canadians ate Katie and poutine for dinner. Well, the cool ones do.
For Thanksgiving.
Half-ace? Or maybe you just
For
have Katie on your
low-income
poutine.
ones.
That's a lot of carbs. That's all the carbs.
Oh, God. I couldn't think of that.
No, you could not, Terry. I could somewhat, and Trevor's like, I could, but I'm not.
Yep.
I could. Fine, give me a portion.
Maybe a
Mazel.
couple edibles.
Yeah, mazel. So, Hit Metal Works made it. Nice to
Cheers.
see you. Yes, and also Charles 75N had a breakthrough in the manufacturing process now of these fabric guitars. Excuse me. What's up, Matt Stewart? Cut the wet sanding time down, Terry, from like 13 hours to 13 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. My guess is he sprayed on less. I don't know. I don't know. He tried to explain it to me, but I'm like, I don't. Just make a video, Charles.
I was just going to say that. Maybe it's a feature video for on his channel.
Could be. But then again, it might be trade secret, so it might not be. It might be a video, but set to private for insiders only. I don't know. Paywall. JP Page 2 and Keith H. They're here. Keith has AC on all day. Today is the first day I haven't had the AC on. I'm at that point where if you don't put on the AC during the day, Terry, the house gets up into the 80s, because of all the sunshine.
Yeah.
But then at night, there's frost, so you got to flip the switch over. So you got to use both flavors of climate control per
I
day.
had my furnace off, and I woke up to 63 degrees, and I was like, okay, that's a little
Yeah, like, what am I, camping? Oh,
Yeah.
cold and stiff, and not in a good way. Yeah. Definitely a trade secret, Charles says. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So, yes, live Q&A, folks. If you have any questions, gear-related or otherwise, ask away. We'll do our best to answer it. And talk about our channel supporters here, or show supporters, show sponsors, if you will, presented by LPD Pedals, Reno Fin Custom Guitars, Tesi Switch, that's right. Tesi Switch, FU Tone, PTM Guitars, Flipside Music, and Ardens Music. Yeah. So Charles is, he's got a bunch of projects on the go. He sends me photos. And then later, you'll see a few days later on his YouTube channel. Basically, 30 photos per second for like upwards of 15 minutes. Video frame rates, Terry. That's how it is. Photos per second. I don't know. Figure, that's what frame rates are. So. Anywho's, that's what's up with that. We know Trev had a nice Thanksgiving dinner because he had debated it. It started in Pete's chat yesterday. He's like, how should a fella prepare? I got a dead bird sitting here. What should I do with it? And, of course, all the smokers in the crowd said, smoke it! And then the non-smokers said, do other stuff to it.
There wasn't, well, I guess there was a deep fryer guy.
Yeah. What's that, like the meth head?
$50 for an oil.
I've done the deep fried turkey. Well, I haven't done it. I've been deep fried adjacent because nobody gives me a frozen turkey in deep fryer. That's just, no. It's not as dry. Well, of course it's greasy.
That bird of mine was not dry at all, but I have a thermometer. I have several. They look like this. You cook it to 165 degrees at the breast, make sure it's $1.80 in the thigh, and you're done.
Yep.
Took about 2.25 hours on the grill with a little pile of charcoal and wood beside it. Smoked that baby down, and it was right on.
What's up, Randy Upchurch? We got 35 people watching in here. And I saw a few comments there in the pre-gamers there, the tailgaters, if you will. I don't know. They're talking in line, waiting to get in, Terry. Because, once again, security, we don't open the doors till 8 o'clock. All right.
Yourselves.
Gear Junkie 35 knows what I'm talking about. And, a few people were saying last night was a great show. And, yes, last night was a great show. And I'm not just saying that because I was involved. But I had a blast. It was like hanging with family. And that's a rare occasion. It's funny enough, it was very much similar to the experience of when I met Stuart for the first time 30 years ago when he was playing with his dad. Like, we just really connected that night, So, yeah, and it was really cool to basically pick up our conversation where it left off in many ways. And except he was been much busier musically than I have for the last 30 years. I'm just saying. I've slept in my own bed a lot more often than he slept in his own bed over the last 30 years.
Yes, actually, BC Rich, that was another awesome story, too, that was told last night.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. She is from Sydney. Part of the Ashby mob right there. Jeez. Yeah, I didn't mention the address to my dad, but I'm sure he knew exactly where that was. Well, Patrick Trace says, hang with family, drunk uncles fighting? Be the drunk uncle. Be the drunk uncle.
Yep.
I say be the drunk uncle that's so drunk you have the kids piling stuff on you while you're passed out in the lazy boy. That's fine. It's fine. So, yeah, last night, a ton of fun, and I look forward to the visit in a few weeks. And definitely there will be a part 2, I'm sure.
So I'm actually curious. Are any of the American viewers out there kind of jealous that we have Thanksgiving early compared to?
I don't think so, Terry. Honestly, the Americans do it better than us. And you know why? Because they hold it on a Thursday, and they say, fuck the Friday in between. We're making it a 4-day weekend. Like,
sure.
I don't know how many people just book that day off or business just closed because they just say, what's the point? But, yeah, it's
kind of the starting pistol for the whole holiday season, right?
Yes. Hey, Layla's Guitar Daddy. Yeah, see, Bo says, nah. He's not jealous. Nah. He's still busy. He's still pre-Thanksgiving, right? There's harvests of crops to harvest, and so those who are on the Zoom call know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Eddie Van Haskell's in the chat, so it's just got cooler. Dan Crow's here as well. Oh, there's a question. Okay. There's actually a second 2 lines. I only saw the last line. All I saw was Fender Mexico amps. Well, that's an open-ended question, but sure. Anyone have reliability issues with any of the Fender Mexico amps? Not that I've heard of. I don't have a Fender Mexican. I thought that was a Fender Mexican amp when I bought it, but it turned out, nope, she's an American. Even
really?
the slip cover for it's made in the USA. Which I'm like, you know what? You can outsource that, But if you don't want to, you don't want it. I don't know. I haven't heard anything, though. It's more... so... I wish I knew the model. I think it's a classic vibe. You may want to stay away from... the 50s? It's either the 50s or the 60s classic vibe, Terry. Okay? So, word of advice, folks. If you're looking to buy a brand new classic vibe, 50s or 60s, because lifestyle choices, Stratocaster shaped object. I cannot stress enough to check the intonation at the store. Or if you're buying online, make sure they have a really good return policy. Because I happened to look at one, and the neck and the body, they went together, but they went together a little too much. And by that, you can't intonate it because the neck pocket was too far. Like, the neck was physically mounted, like, too far.
A PRS scale, perhaps?
Well, it was almost like, they put the wrong scale neck on the wrong scale body, mismatch. Because... the guy, because I don't even want to mention the store I was in, but where have I been recently? Anyways, he's like, what's wrong? He's like, I think they put the frets in the wrong spot. I'm like, no, that's all CNC. It knows where all the lines. I'm like, what you got here? It's the problem. The neck pocket was too deep, so when the neck went in too far, and then they drilled the holes, the neck was So it was like a full fret width off at the 12th fret or more. With the guitar intonated as closely as possible. Like it was bad. It was bad. So
I wonder if they got...
And I'm thinking, and because all that stuff's digital and computerized as far as fit and finish, Terry, if one's fucked up, that means they're all fucked up in that run.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. I do know recently Fender launched the Squier Classic Vibe 50s or 60s in a baritone. So if they happen to screw up a neck...
If they happen to put the baritone neck on the standard body...
Yeah.
You know what? You might have just won a chicken dinner. Because I did not know, but that would... Yep.
Yeah.
Or
somebody bought the guitar, took the neck.
No, it was a new guitar.
Oh, it was brand spanking new out of the box.
Yeah, well, no, it was new. It was purchased, and the guy went, "Hey, I can't play this thing.
It's broken.
Like, as soon as I get out of the first position, nothing works." And so they did an exchange. I assume he got something different. Another classic vibe. Yeah, it's all CNC done. That's what I'm saying, Randy. Like, they fucked up with the dimensionals on something. So, and it wouldn't be the fret slots themselves. So, how'd that pass? Well, this is the less and less. Most QA now is finish flaws. It's not playability. That's how you have miscut nuts. And Zach, you have the best reason ever to miss one of my shows. Family.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
William De Silva says that he had to swap out a bridge on a classic vibe to get it to intonate right. Now, what was that? Was that a Tele? Was that a Strat? And was it a newer gen or an older gen?
I've seen that happen too. Yeah, post holes for trims drilled in wrong locations.
Well, that's what I was kind of saying back when I had my vintage modified Tele Deluxe. The bridge seemed to. It was almost like they installed the bridge. It looked straight, but I'd still swear it had a slight kind of little bit off to the one angle, like
The best is when
or something.
the neck wasn't installed properly. In fact, so the bridge has to be moved one way or the other. You look, that looks off. Plays great. Can't figure out. It's because the neck is just ever so slightly.
Yeah,
So
I
everything
mean
has
that's what it was like.
because
Whatever it
everything
was.
rotates on the axis of the 12th fret, right?
Yeah.
It was a Strat older 170s, if he wasn't mistaken. Well, there we are. Hey, Boomer.
Probably was a first gen, which, yeah, I could see that happening on first gen.
Eddie Van Hassel, they type PRS into the CNC machine. Yeah. You don't need that extra 3/4 of an inch for the scale.
Dan Crow, I need at least one guitar player to touch each instrument before the sale.
That's true. That is true. And, unfortunately, at a lot of the big box retail chains of music retail, they hire salespeople as opposed to musicians
People
that are
that can actually
salespeople,
play.
or salespeople that happen to be musicians, type thing. And which I get because I don't know, like you gotta hire somebody, and if no musician applies for the job, it's got to go to somebody, right?
Yeah. Hey, Zach.
My store, it's more like they are picking them up out of the high school as they walk off the graduation line.
Yeah. Wait, well, it tells me more is they don't give a shit about the fact that you're a musician as a player. Like, I do know if you're a gigging musician and you work for Ardens, guess what? In the summertime, you get weekends off a lot more. Because if you have gigs, he will schedule around. Now, you may have less hours as a result. You may lose a shift a week, say. But, and the other employees get it too. It's like, why do I get weekends off? Join a band.
Better.
So there is that. Whereas, but if the place doesn't, we don't give time off just for any old reason, well, I guess I'm not working here. I kind of need the time off. Like I remember the call center I worked at, they'd be skeevy that way. Oh yeah, we'll give you the time off, Trev. Come on and work, and then as soon as here's your chef. Oh no, these are your chefs. You can't. You're like, yeah, but I told you when you hired me. They're like, well, you didn't talk to us about that. It was HR.
They were wrong.
And then they're like, you say, well, I quit. See ya.
Hasta la vista.
What's up, Keith
Well,
Campbell?
Keith, if it was Ben, I'm sure he would. Maple roasted drumstick. Like I said, you'd save it for him because you would need it.
I would say that. Yeah, I would. I would definitely, yeah. All yours, Keith. All yours.
But it's funny that you mentioned that because another YouTuber recently posted a video saying about one of the 40th anniversary models he got actually has a whole bunch of issues. So, unless it's one of the special anniversary edition ones.
And nothing surprised me. How did that get out the door? You should have seen guitars in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, how did that design get off the paper? Stuff like that. It's like, why are there parts of the guitar digging into my body? Like, did no one hold this guitar before putting it into production? Or guitars that had wicked headstock dive and stuff like that. That is inherent design flaws. Could the folks at Gibson had just made the SG body a touch thicker? Would it offset the neck dive so much? Because it's such a thin body. I'm not saying you make it as thick as a Les Paul, but I don't know. Figure it out. 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch. Like, how much extra do you need? Thomas Santiago made it.
Hey,
Cheers,
Thomas.
Thomas.
Robert Ranford's here apparently, because I see people talking to Robert Ranford. I didn't see him
Mhm.
come in, but he was
Well,
sneaky, Terry. I think he was walking next to a very large man, very large, and just blocked the way, so you couldn't see
I
him.
seen him, but I was waiting for you to say
I
hello
think
to him.
Trev, your big friend you were talking about off air,
Yeah.
he's in the chat, and Robert Ranford walked in next to him, so we didn't even see Robert. He's just behind one of those.
Hey, I rock.
There he is. Paul Fuchs is here, all the way from Milwaukee. Well,
Yeah, it's
all
kind of
the way.
interesting because
Dan of New Jersey. They're all filing in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Went
for
from
some extra.
26.
Yeah, I was going to mention, being that it's October, that means October, super chats get into November. Pay. All the super chats for October go to the girls for the Christmas again this year. So, even if you're lurking,
Just got some
unbelievable.
extra gravy.
And Mr. Pedals himself. We're talking about you last night, Lawrence. We were sprinkling on the 87 on Stuart Cameron. He seemed interested, and then I messaged Lawrence about another pedal we talked about last night. I said he's really interested in that. So, speaking of which, Lawrence, I didn't tell you, Stuart is coming over here in a couple of weeks, so he's going to try some of your pedals in a couple of weeks. So maybe we can get some of your pedals onto his board for the Crash Test Dummies tours. And then he can do a rig rundown, and our friend Perry can go, hey, LPD Pedals. Tell us about those. Yeah. So, anywho's, so all super chats. And thank you very much, Charles, for the super chat. The super chats all will be going towards the niece's Christmas gifts. Christopher Lifestyle says, I'm trying to get some big box right now. I don't know if that's a euphemism for something or it's a deal in a drive-through, which is also a euphemism because they are really efficient in that. No, I don't know. So I know the big bag because we don't have them here in Canada. Keep seeing these commercials. I get a big bag from Wendy's, for $5. I was like, yeah, that's like $12 worth of food here in Canada. First of all,
Yeah.
And second of all, where can I get that? Because they're like, here's a combo, but Moz will throw something extra in it for you because you're still hungry because it's just a fast food combo. So, yes. Anywho's, back to we could talk about the new guitar I snagged on last week. Well, new to me guitar I snagged on last week.
That was a good
Vintage Icon. That's it. What the hell's it called? Icon V6
Relic Series.
Whoa!
Mahogany.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much, my friend. I will be putting that towards the
Amazing.
girls.
Yeah, thanks.
Maybe we'll even get Dad a new pair of pajama pants.
I think Mahogany just went from Mahogany to Mo Ebony.
He says, what the hell? It's Christmas. Yes. Appreciate it. That's right, Keith. V6 good for 80s Bush series. I would say that, how can you not, do a flying V and not call it the V6? That would be, because it's a 6-string. It'd be a 6-string flying V. And then I'd do the 7-string version and call it the V7.
I don't want to mess with them.
Some of y'all like extra strings.
I actually think somebody did do that.
I rock Zeb Blues. Hobo Roadie.
Hey, Hobo.
What's the strain? What is this? Widow Bomb. Still finishing up the Widow Bomb. A little bit back in there.
Not much left, though.
No, there's another nug up top.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I gotta head down there at some point too. All right, Josh has a gear question. Sweet, hang on. All right, put that back. Your V10 will be your pedal steel. Just saying.
A V12, that would be wild.
V12. That'd be your double neck. Or your 12 string.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Okay, Josh. Yeah, little nuggets. Well, not all of us have something that's the size of my fucking arm, is what I'm saying. Favorite hot telly bridge single coil to try and match a P90 neck?
Yes, he just purchased a Schecter PT
Josh,
telly.
do you happen to know the output of said P90? Because he said to match, Terry, is why I want to ask. Because I understand. Because you want to make the middle position usable and not just seem like half a blend. What's up, John DeShane? And thank you very much, Thomas Santiago.
Yeah, thank you,
Thomas Santiago. Thomas Santiago. Thomas Santiago. And shouldn't a Flying V have a V-neck, Trev?
Well, I kind of partial to the hockey stick headstock. You like that Dave Mustaine?
No. Like, you know, like you have your
No,
C
the actual
shape or your shallow or your
Oh,
U-shaped
yeah.
neck. I'd give it a V-neck profile too. Give it all the V's. And you know, like the Dean headstock, you'd have the reverse V, so you got the V and the other V, and then the V neck.
Stick
And
with
then,
the
Actually,
And then,
I think that one V that Tone King got from Freemus had a V.
and if it's a hardtail, Terry, we got to use the Gretsch tailpiece, so it's a V tailpiece.
Yeah.
There
You
you
know, so
go.
it's all the V's. All the V's. All the V's.
Alliteration.
Charles is laughing right now.
And
Giggling.
Josh says it doesn't
See?
come till the end of the month.
Easy, that's how stuff gets relic. How do you hit guitars while they're in the stand? Me. Apparently I don't know how to use a guitar stand properly. Alright. I just had one. That's why you're... Yeah. Alright, so... did he say or no? No, okay.
No, he said that the guitar comes at the end of the month.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's
Heard it's up there.
basically
Okay, so it's
Schecter-
probably...
it's the Schecter PT
Yep.
with.
So it's probably going to be about 7.5K output, give or take, on the P90. So I am going to recommend, outside of my own signature pickup,
Of course.
of course, because I do one based off of Blackguard Telly, 53, if you will. I would go with the Fender Nocaster bridge pickup because it is overwound and it puts out about 9K. So you're going to get a little more than the, in the middle position. You're going to get a little more than that, and that's what I would go with. The Fender Nocaster pickup, which will fit in a Squier PT or Squier Schecter PT. And how do we know this? Because we just watched Dave's World of Fun Stuff install one in one the other day. I'm pretty sure. Because I know he worked on one of those guitars and I saw him install one of those pickups. Now, I could have watched more than one video while binge something. So, there we go. Boomer is clearly not watching Canadian football because he just said fourth down. Doug Strong made it, though. He's locked the kids in their respective closets, and now he's able to join us.
Perfect.
Oh, excuse me. BC Rich is playing nurse. He's not in his pajama bottoms. He's the only one in just a pajama top.
There you go.
And the rest of the house is going, put it away. I'm sick. Put it away. The trick is to ignore the screaming. I hear, yeah, that's when you crank the amp all the way up. You're wearing a onesie. That's a mental picture I did not need.
Yeah.
But it's in there now.
With the button flap undone.
Well, of course. Or just one, partial aeration.
The wing.
Thank you, Barry. What else we got? Vegas Raiders. Still don't sound right. Right. I'm like, who? Right. And put in a 4-way switch for series wiring. Yes, all tellies should have 4-way switches. I do that in most of mine. Most because I haven't rewired the Mexican one beyond the kill switch. That's it. Yeah. Apparently Keith's doing laundry, or at least his trapdoor onesies in the laundry. How often do you wear that in San Diego? Like, once a year?
Yeah.
Just saying. Oh, so let's grab the new guitar, Mazel.
Yeah.
Oh, she is a little heavy. I gotta weigh it, because it's heavy. Fucking still smells like Long McQuaid. God damn it. Now, again, the non-members / patrons that weren't on the Zoom call on Wednesday, I've noticed something, folks. Yep. Long McQuaids have a smell. And those who frequent Long McQuaids know that there is a smell. It's a combination of, like, shoe store and new rubber. Because they just put a bunch of patch cables out, which just waft out through the store. And then, I don't know, I think they're constantly... Yeah, I don't know where they get such a... Because the Tolex isn't leather, but there's that. Smell. Actually. No. Same smell as... what's that? Moore's. You know, the formal store? It's got that smell. So it's fancy store
like fabric?
Fucking cleanser of some kind.
Oh.
You know, mixed with patch cables. Yeah. That's what, yeah, I'm like, I know that smell. I'm about to spend money. That's that smell. I got to get dressed up in clothes I don't want to in, and even though they're custom fit, they're still uncomfortable because they got collars and shit like that. And so anyways, for those who may have missed the video on Friday, on Thursday, a fella snagged this up, which is, what do they call this again? What the hell is that color? Something blue. Laguna Blue, I think. Yeah, it was a cool name like Laguna Blue. I'm not sure. I think it's a Powell Ferro fretboard, but very dark. It looks rosewood. It'll fool you. I don't mind the headstock. You know. Yeah. I will say, though, they don't do it a lot, but there's a bit of they rolled the fretboard edges a bit. At least it feels like to me that it's really easy for wrapping the thumb around for whatever reason, and it feels the front half, this area, the rolled edge, it feels a lot like my 71 Telly when I play it.
Well, there you go.
But the neck isn't quite as deep as my 71 Telly. But it does feel very close.
Now I can give you some stats on it. So it's American Adler body, or alder body. The color is Laguna Blue.
No, I think this is a poplar body. The link I looked at.
Anyways, the color is Laguna Blue. Apparently, the fingerboard radius is a 10-inch radius.
Yep.
Distressed chrome. Antique white. Hey, Wilkaloid top nut.
Yeah, it is a bit on the heavy side, Bo. And it's got some, I guess that's figuring. It's got stuff going on. It's almost more like a spalting. But, yeah. I think I'm going to stay in the neck too, because it's got a satin finish, which does feel nice, but we can make her feel nicer.
But the humbucker version of that goes for $705.
Medium frets, it said, but they look more like jumbos to me. Same width, maybe they're just not as tall. Oh yeah, that's what it is. They're not as tall. Sweet! No wonder I didn't mind playing it. Needs a neck shim.
Right.
Oh, you're not going to be able to see it, but can a fella? Maybe.
Got some teeth.
Well, no, there's just, if you can see the saddle where it meets the plate, it's like all the way there. Here, let's get that out of the way. Come on, release. You came out 3/4 of the way. Just
Teasing.
there you go. What, I got to lube you next time? All right, don't
I
put
can
me
see
in
what you're
dry.
saying, Ben, because this one link I went to said that it's a poplar body. So
Yeah, you kind of. Yeah, there's not much room on that saddle. Oh, I do not want to hold that out at arm's length at all. I felt that. I think I popped 3 vertebrae there. Oh, compared to my old Telly, yeah, they're like skyscrapers. Blackjack guitar. What's up, Squire Telly? Squire Telly. Short form for Squire Telecaster. Push-in style. I'm still not sure how I feel about the push-in style, but it works. You know, what the hell. What else?
They say the one advantage of the push-in style is that it doesn't swing around like normally the screw ring does.
Oh, it does. It's still. It's somewhat. It's not because I use the right there, right? Type thing, but I don't know.
Well, that's just one of the.
Yeah. Well, the problem is half the time the volume pot's in the way, anyways. When I use it, so what? How do you be subtle on it? How do you keep it from going out of tune by dive bombing it? Well, we'll just put the volume pot in such a way that you can't. Thank you, Keith. And fun fact, Terry, I found these same pickups brand new on the Jungle website for $63 hairs.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Not 163. Because if someone said, how much is a set of Wilkinson pickups? I'm like, I don't know, 150? Because I've heard of them. You figure any pickup set you've ever heard of, it's got to be that much. Is there a Allen key adjustment to tighten up that arm? Good question. I have no idea. But
you have to tilt the bridge forward.
To see?
Bar, and you should see it just under the plate and right behind the actual.
Well, how about you don't? Area. Yeah, just don't put it on the. Try forcing it coming. Go! You just came out. There you go. All right, now we'll lean you up on the arm so we can snap the headstock off. Well, I'll be dipped. There you go. Terry's right.
Yep.
All right. Can we show that off to everybody? I don't know. Again.
More shoulders.
All right, you let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Looking at,
Yep.
Oh, Jesus. Hang on. There we go. Now we can just claw on it. There.
Yep.
Sweet. I don't know. Yep. Light? Sure. I don't know. It's in there. It's in there. Oh, man. Muscle that thing around. I was just going to take off the back plate and try to look up inside there. It's got some kind of weird polymer block that I'm not sure about. So it doesn't look like the pot metal that Fender uses, what I'm saying. So let's take a look since, got a screwdriver right here. This is why I'm not allowed to have screwdrivers right next to the webcam. So we end up taking stuff apart each week now, apparently, on the show.
I go in handy.
Unscrewing Ben again. Yeah, it's just give it a Scotia. I kind of like the bar a little loose, but then again, I got to get used to using a bar again. Because I never use a bar. Like, I don't even have the bar in my Strat. It's just, at no point in my playing ever, I'm like, you know what? I need a wiggle stick.
Wish I had a,
Leave the back plate off. That's what people say, but then I find the springs get tangled in the belt buckle. Sometimes. Well, then again, it's further back. We'll see. The only thing I notice is it's not all in a row, where the strings apparently go through. The string ferrules. And they've rounded off the lower corners of the back cover here, but the top level, because it's a 3-ply, is sharp cornered, which looks very weird. An optical
It
illusion.
should look like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Apparently Terry has the same trim, and that's how he knows stuff about it.
Yep. That's the compensated string kind of spacing thing.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
It's supposed to help with...
So the strings go straight up through more under the saddle?
yeah, and there's less chance of going out of tune.
Except if you look at the saddles, they're all basically right in a row on this guitar. So that makes no sense concerning the offset on the back. There we go. We got a front and back at the same time. Oh, yeah. So what's that made of? That seems like it's just... Oh, is it painted? Is that what the deal is? It's just painted metal? Because it looks like plastic.
No, I
Well,
think
just
it's just a different cast of metal.
But it's black.
Yeah.
Black metal.
Black metal. Yeah. Then they got 2 speed holes cut in the trim claw, for weight relief, because the body's so heavy, I guess. I don't know.
Every little bit.
Yeah, kind of, actually, it doesn't look bad without the trim cover on the back, too.
Correct.
Yep.
They should have mismatched the paint, though. It's like, Terry,
Yeah.
do you have the exact same fucking guitar? Like, what am I looking at? Yours is the nice one, and mine's been in Tom's hands for half an hour?
Oh, this one actually has checking.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Is that a
checking
vintage
on
as well,
poly.
though?
No. It's my
Oh, okay. I was like,
Made
wait.
in Mexico body.
Well, again, lifestyle choices. I'm like, fill a fella in here, Terry. I'm like, how are you doing this? Because you're like, oh, this is the trim, and blah,
No,
blah, blah.
it's the Made in Mexico body, and like I said, it's weird to see a Made in Mexico body with cracking and checking,
Right.
but it's there. Like, I got a big, massive checking line
I'll just leave
going along
the
here
back off for now.
and
Anyway.
one up here.
This is unscrewing portion, not the screwing portion.
So it's funny because, like they say, well, you can't relic a Made in Mexico body. No, looks pretty relic to me.
Yeah.
Like.
All depends on how much you abuse it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Basically, you have to abuse it climately,
Yeah.
environmentally. Like if it goes through extreme humidity and then dryness, it will, because the paint can't expand and shrink the same as the wood.
But yeah, it's got crack here, crack, of course, in the pocket. But that's with the Mighty Mike 70s headstock neck on it
Right.
that I refinned.
Yes, Dan Crow, you are correct. They can spray nitro. Actually, they do spray nitro in California as well, because custom shop stuff, you can get nitro on some of them. But nitro is more expensive to shoot. Yes.
And they got to wear hazmat. Well, at least Jason, who is
Well,
the head
I
trainer,
don't know what the environmental / labor laws are in Mexico, Terry, but
Yeah.
you should wear a hazmat. You should be wearing protection.
Well, what I was saying is the Jason guy, who's the head painter at the Fender Custom Shop in Corona. Yeah, he wears a full.
Well, he
thing.
would have to, because he's shooting nitro in California.
Yeah, but the stupid thing is he doesn't wear gloves. But then he showed at the one point in time, he goes, "This is why you don't wear gloves." And he grabs onto the turn thing, and the whatever the glove is, poly or vinyl or whatever it was.
No.
He goes, he sticks his hand there, and he goes, "And this is why you can't use it." And he goes like this, and the glove goes, "Nee, nee."
Yeah, because the thinner with lacquer thinner, he'll just eat it.
Yeah.
Liquefied.
So, anywho's, yes, that's what's happening. We got 59 people watching. Awesome. Let's thank the patrons on Patreon, because we do that each show. You too can become a patron. Yes, you can become patron on
You can become
Patreon.
a Patreon.
I'll take that off and put that up. There we are. I want to shout out. Yeah, try to do it in one breath. LRM Guitars, T. Ricky, Guitar Man 45, Cousin Todd Flowers, Doug Strong, Rady Crooks, Mahogany, Fruitcake Tony, Blackjack Guitar, Keith H., Paul McNary, Other Left, Ferd Burfel, JP Page 2, John ZD351, Brother Ben Tom, Jeff K, Grunt Mike Guitar, Symmetry, Guitar Man 45, Charles Green, Unfucking Believable, and Charles 75 and aka Dark Fabric Top, aka Sir Charles of the Fabric.
Yep. There you go.
Awesome. Hey, Paul Leonard Ewing made it. That's nice. Squire Telecast says, been to the Mexican plant. Cool. Hit the like as well, please. Yes. Mucho apreciado, I think. That's probably not right, but I tried. I did figure out how to make the fuzz start working again in the heat lamp, but I guess you have to get new lacquer to smooth the check. Yes. Unless it's cured too much, then your paint becomes brittle and will just chip away regardless. Welcome back, Terry.
Thank you. I had to do a bio.
You got what now?
Had to do the bio break. Too much.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had to go buy something. I'm like, just look at that, Terry slinging deals during the show.
Yes, food or guitars or some other thing, sure.
Or both. Which could happen. You get a regular pizza delivery guy, he looks over the shoulder, he's saying, hey, what's a feller got going on over there? And you're like, oh, it's just a thing. And he's like, oh, yeah? Is that the same thing I've seen up on the Kijij? And he's like, yeah. And then you snag on a deal. He's like, all right, here's the deal, Terry. You don't play that amp anymore, and I have a staff discount at the pizza place. So let's just say I'll be stopping by here once a week for the next 6 months. And you're like, that could work. That could work. You know, saying you can even hang on to the amp till you get like your 10th pie. And you're like, that could work. And he's like, and you want all, you're like, yeah, Moz will take all the toppings because Moz, he's paying for it. And you get, it's one of those where you look at the pizza box, it's sagging in the bottom and it's not due to the grease content. You're like, whoa, oh, this is going to be, I'm going to eat maybe 2 slices and like, whoo.
Belly bomb.
I have to sit and contemplate life for about 8.5 minutes before I even think about a 3rd slice.
Sean. No.
Oh, that would be Doug, if anything. Doug would.
Yeah, you're right, Ben.
There's been a few times like, all right, I gotta go. Right as soon as we end the show, he's like, I gotta poop. I'm like, all right. Keith prefers the naturally relic. Me too. I'm pretty naturally relict. Unnatural is when someone else relics you for you. That's an unnatural relic. But, you know, poor life choices usually lead to most relicking situations. Do I need a helmet? Nah.
Make me hungry with the pizza.
I was thinking that too. Like, it's the kind of pizza I never buy too, because I was just picturing in my head like the Jim's Pizza, aka Tommaso's, Zach. You know what I'm talking about, right? Best pizza in town. Oh. Unbelievable reports. Almost pulled the trigger on a Framus Devin Townsend D series today, but doesn't have the signature humbuckers. Somebody snagged them out, put them in another guitar. I get it.
That all depends, right? You know, like
motorcycles will definitely relic you. That's true, Octopus Ears. Because it's like you're placing yourself in a wind tunnel every time you fire one up. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Or how about them skidoos?
Same thing, only colder.
Mm-hmm.
That's your ice wind tunnel. Octopus Ears wins Phil McKnight's Framus. Well, you mean Unbelievable's Framus? Unless Phil had more than one. I know at least one of them, I believe, ended up in Unbelievable's hands.
I was going to say, or check Zim's guitar.
Or check Zim's. Zim's online. I don't know. Maybe the blue one with P90s. Does that ring a bell? I'm waiting for my phone to blow up with a photo of a blue Framus with P90s. Offset body.
It sounds familiar.
Sounds like someone's being quiet in the chat. Keith Campbell loves SRV's number 1, so he really likes refretted multiple beat the absolute living hell Stratomacaster.
Love a Paul Ferro fretboard.
Oh, okay. The semi-hollows, Phil has it. Well, there we are. I'm not knowing. I'm shrugging. By the way, unbelievable. Have you tried the kilt in the Phoenix weather? Because I really think being in Phoenix, you could really embrace the kilt. Oh, you bought the Frankenberry.
That's funny, the Frankenberry.
Or is the Framusberry? Domino's. Can't help it. Every time I see Domino's Pizza, I hear, Domino. Gene Simmons singing away. What's up, brother Tom? Never really got what the big deal. I never really got what the big deal about Steve Ray Vaughan was. I mean, he's good. Oh, Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's using voice to text again.
Oh,
like, who's
that's
Steve
what
Ray
I was
Vaughan?
wondering. I was like saying that Ray Vaughan? I've never heard of that
See,
name before.
you gotta realize. I think Tom thinks the phone cops are after him, so he speaks in code.
Hmm.
All right.
Now it's Ray Vaughan.
I like Steve Ray Vaughan. I thought he got a little too Hendrixy at times. That's me.
But that's because Hendrix was one of his major influences.
And he was, I don't know, according to some, he invented Texas blues, but I would beg to differ.
Yeah.
He definitely brought it to the forefront in many ways. And was waving the flag for blues players in general all through the 80s. So I'll give them that. But then again, a lot of artists did that for genres of music over the years, and I didn't like them. So I also agree that Richie Blackmore does in fact look like an old lesbian witch. I personally think an old lesbian pilgrim, because he's wearing the fucking pilgrim hat rather than
I'm just going to throw it out there. Are you sure, Tom, you're not confusing Richie Blackmore with Vinnie Vincent?
Same thing. Jeff K. Thank you, my friend.
But yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is mostly known to be the guy that kind of brought the blues back into the mainstream.
Well, Clapton was kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
In the 80s, until Journeyman.
Stand the Weather. That was a cool song. Yeah, he had it. He kind of broke through and got some traction on the airwaves outside of conventional genres.
Yeah. Now, granted, if I ever hear Pride and Joy again, I'm done.
Yeah. Sure enough
done.
that.
I'm done. Yeah.
That's a cool shot, man. That's drag.
So, although I was really into Steve Ray Vaughan, like a lot of people, when he passed away, but that was like because I did that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. So, like anybody, okay, so you start out, you like the music on the radio, right? Hey, that stuff's awesome. Well, then I open up the hit paraders, reading the interviews with the people I think are awesome, and let's say Motley Crue. They're like, oh, we're nothing compared to the Georgia Satellites. They're the real deal. I'm like, who the fuck are the Georgia Satellites? Check out the Georgia Satellites. I'm like, oh, sweet diggity. This is awesome, right? And then, listen to and they're like, yeah, we're no Led Zeppelin. I'm like, well, who the fuck's Led Zeppelin? Because, we didn't have a classic rock radio station in this area. So unless my parents had a Zeppelin album, which they did not, I wasn't aware. Hello, Ed Sterling. It's a new name in the chat, or a forgot name. Welcome or welcome back. Good to see you, my friend.
Maybe one that's been around, but not.
So,
around.
of course, with the Zeppelin-y stuff, and Dad's just like, well, that's just old blues. Especially the first couple albums, right? I'm like, well, what old blues? And at the same time, I'm getting into Clapton, and what he's doing, which, and then you're reverting backwards from what was on TV/radio to all of a sudden the solo stuff, and then Cream and all that. And I'm, well, okay. And then Robert Johnson. I went all the way back to Robert Johnson. And I'm so, and then as such, then of course it was blues. I was just, I'm gonna play. The reason I got into the blues, Trev, it was a selfish reason too, because all through high school, being a few years younger than you, I graduated in '92, and literally I saw the change happen in my last year of school. Literally, it went from "Can you play Eruption?" to "Can you play Smells Like Teen Spirit?" And like, wow, that is vastly different talent levels. But literally up until it, and with the "Can you play Eruption?" and all that scene, I was just like, I can't play that, but I can play the blues, Trev. I could play the blues. I'm like, at its simplest form, I'm like, okay, and I did have a decent sense of rhythm at least, so
Perfect.
That helped because it's all about rhythm with the blues. And so that's why I was into the blues. I wore a fedora and a trench coat my last year of high school. So, yeah, I was blues man. Like that was it. I bought a Strat, in the fall of '91. I bought my Strat, and so I'm going to be a blues man. So,
well, probably the hat probably saved you, because otherwise, if you only had a trench coat on, that would have been a
no,
signal
you
of
could
other
still wear
things.
trench coats at that time. You can still wear trench coats at that time. It was still okay. By my sister's age group, 4 years later, you couldn't really wear a trench coat anymore. But, because we're literally at that Silent Bob era. So, you can still wear a trench coat. The alternative people all wore trench coats, and, I think that's where it came from.
People that were into the Crow movie.
I don't know if The Crow was out when I was in high school or not. That's a good question. Do you like STP? Yes, love STP.
Yeah, actually, STP the oil, or STP the group?
Both. I like the band and the petroleum company. Andy Granatelli owned the petroleum company, and I did like STP. I remember when I first heard them, I went, "Wow, these guys really sound like Alice in Chains." Really sound like Alice in Chains. But then their second album sounded less like Alice in Chains and more like STP. But then I thought, how much was that? The record company going, "Hey, you guys already kind of sound like these guys. Why don't you just sound a little more like them? And your kind of hit might be more of a hit to get you in the door." No.
There you go. Keith Campbell has a new.
Exactly. You got the trench coats at the local military surplus. Exactly, Squire Telecaster.
And the boots while you were there.
Yep. Yeah, because Doc Martens were already a thing, but we didn't know about them until I think I got my first Doc Martens around 1990, 91 as well. And before that,
Tone. It's terrible.
although I did have some combat boots as well for a period of time. Funny enough, we didn't have an army surplus store in a town with a fucking base. I just thought that was odd.
That is kind of strange.
Yeah, had to go to Kingston. That was okay. It was an excuse for a trip.
Ooh, BC Rich is sitting on a landmine. He still has 5 pairs of docks that were made in the UK. Oh, God. Those things are worth money if they're still in good shape.
Do I still have any of mine? Mine are all pretty much, mine are all shot. Although, no, I still have a pair of 3-hole, so dress shoes. My dad snagged them. And he started wearing, he's like, "Oh, I borrowed your dress shoes." And I'm like, first of all, how do you figure it's okay to just rant, like, we're going to some event? He's like, "Oh, I borrowed your dress shoes." Well, what is I gonna wear that? You know what I mean?
Hey,
So,
Tony.
okay, yeah, only an hour late. Yeah, but I was like, those aren't even my dress shoes. Those are my Docs. He goes, well, they're dress shoes. I'm like, no, those are my Doc Martens. I don't wear those as dress shoes. First of all, the soles are too fucking heavy to wear as dress shoes all night. You know, I used to wear them waiting tables all the time, but it was hilarious because he's wearing my black Doc Marten shoes with red plaid laces in them because I put red plaid laces in them. Yeah, you know. Okay, but yeah, I had dress shoes at the time, and then I went to the whole fucking Jerry Seinfeld, like, fuck it, I'm wearing sneakers with my suits or dress clothes, regardless. Like, I get new sneakers or actually a week old sneakers. You want to break them in a bit. What's up, legend? Big Hoss?
Hey, Simon.
We'll have to talk about this mix in the studio. We'll definitely have to do that. Simon Hosford coming on in a couple of weeks, folks. Sunday Night Hang on the 23rd, I guess. 23rd. 24th for him. There's Lambert Drive Studios. Saw you in the chat last night, but I didn't want to interrupt Stuart, and then I forgot because lifestyle choices. My good friend Jason Hamilton, chief bottle washer over at Lambert Drive Studios, which, Terry, could you throw a link to his channel in the chat, if you don't mind? Because people should check it out. It doesn't take up much time. He does a lot of shorts, mainly. But they're fun. He did a cover of the Seven Nation Army, Trev.
Okay.
All the parts. All the layers with, like, octaves and basses and guitars, and it sounded good.
Cool.
I went more for. I didn't wear all skinny ties. I think I still have my leather tie though from the 80s. You can still get you can still get Docs because I remember what was it? Was it for this year or last year? No, I think it was for grade 8. My sister got Kenzie her first pair of Docs for school. I think it was last year. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, Doc's still cool. That's cool.
Yeah, they actually have 2 tiers of them now. They have the Chinese produced, and then they restarted to make the UK ones. But the UK ones are special order, and
I would just buy. Well, it was ridiculous. Again, much like I think we've talked off. I used to buy the fake watches up in Toronto. Yeah. I used to buy Doc Martens in Toronto and sell them down here because the markup. There was one place around here that sold them, and I remember it was $110 for a pair of 3-hole, so the dress shoe. Whereas I could get them for $75 on Yonge Street.
Yep.
So I would go to Yonge Street and snag up a pair, start wearing them to school, and literally say someone, I'll buy those off you. I'm like, I bet you will. And then I'd get another pair. They'd never wear out for me. I'd sell them at a profit. It was great. And I bought them used as well. We trade them. Just because, like I say, if you didn't pay through the nose, you had to go to Toronto to get them.
Yeah, I wore my, I think they're 3-holes is what you said, that are the Chinese made ones that I got back in 2002, I think it was. I just stopped wearing them in this 5 winters ago because they just finally got too hard on the sole to be grippy in the winter.
I wrecked most of mine wearing them at gas stations.
Oh, yeah. That would do it.
Eventually just eats away at the leather. It'll just dry them out. Oil on them, okay. Gasoline, not so much. Has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you're working, you're like, dang it, get a soaker right up where it bends at the ball of the foot. God damn it.
Oh, nice, Ben. Or Tom.
Nice. Were you the king of the skinny ties? Do you have the matching mullet? I never really had a full-on mullet. I had mullet leaning because I couldn't have long hair through school because I worked at a restaurant, and you couldn't. It was like the 60s. Like, I'm like, what am I, fucking Arlo Guthrie here? Like, what the fuck? You can't have long hair? You know? Like, my dad had longer hair, but you could have it longer, but you couldn't have long hair. So, and then he just kept it shorter on the top side, or sides at least anyways. No, I had the undercut quite a bit in high school. I even had blonde hair for a period of time with the undercut. You know, blonde on top with shaved sides and back. Oh, yeah. Skater cut.
I can see that. That was very popular.
Yes, Haas, please send me a photo of you with hair, and then we will show it. 'Cause that's how that works.
I got a picture of me from 92.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, we do have the photo of me from high school. My
Yeah,
cousin
that's
and
a good-
I.
Yeah, that's a classic Canadian look, Trev.
Wow, that's some hair. Love it.
92.
Yeah.
This would be around 90, because still got it. Funny part is my cousin is wearing my Joker shirt, Terry, because I collected comic books. So I had comic book shirts, but also rock shirts. So I'm wearing my Motley Crue shirt with black jeans. He's wearing my white Joker shirt with white jeans. I'm wearing black shoes. He's wearing white shoes.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm holding my one hand there.
Yeah, that's kind of a interesting place.
Oh, wait, here we go. Actually, no, it says on the back, summer of 89. So I would have been 15. So, yeah, after grade 9. This is me in grade 9, baby. Me in grade 9.
I was just thinking that.
Now, notice, Trev, as per our conversation off air last night, if you'll notice in the background, the motorcycle exhaust.
Right.
Yep.
And that is a retired full-blown superbike just sitting out in the yard because needed extra room in the little shop. Because that is basically, you can see it's a small little garage, and you're seeing half of the front.
Yeah.
That was Hindle exhaust systems in the 80s.
Yeah.
And now they're fucking factory with employees. And and my uncle ran his race team out of there too. Race team and business.
Perfect.
Simon said he sent it to your Insta.
He would have been retired from racing for about 5-6 years at that point, but he kept the race bike around. Oh yeah, I know what it was. He converted his full-blown superbike back to street legal.
Oh.
Which meant he put headlight and signal and lights and stuff.
Taillight. Yep.
Oh yes.
License plate.
Oh, this is glorious. All right, we have to show this off because not only does he have the hair, but he went one step above and he's rocking the side part with the long hair. Where's my share fucking screen? Is it present? Did they change it? Oh, they did too. Present. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just put share screen? Changing names on a fella after using it for years. There it is. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
There's Haas. I'm pretty sure he was auditioning for INXS at the time. Yep.
Very cool.
It's a new station. Right now.
That is so funny that's basically a photo of me from the end of grade 9.
That is Ben in grade 9, baby.
That was me in grade 9.
That is Ben in grade 9. That is Ben in grade 9.
That was me in grade 9. So that would have been the summer after grade 8 for my cousin. Pretty sure, yeah, he's 10 months younger than me. Different side of the family from Doug, though. That would be from Ma's side of the family. He now runs Hindle Exhaust Systems, Trev. Ironically enough.
Right on.
Wow.
Yep. It was crazy. I never thought he was really into bikes, and then he was one of these guys that, when the time came, much I guess me with guitar playing, all of a sudden he said to his dad, all right, and of course didn't even learn on the street, basically learned on a track. And most of his riding was done on the track. And it was just, yeah. And then he's got a younger sister who's, I want to say, like 7 years younger than me. And then by the time she decided to start riding, by that point, you had to take the course or whatever, right? It wasn't your 60-day permit anymore. So then she took the course and then got a nice little 450 sport bike she started out with. I'm like, oh, this thing's awesome. Because it's almost like 7/8 scale. And I was just like, oh, I feel like I wouldn't kill myself on this thing. I like this. And then she got a 600 after that. And then I think they all ran. I don't know if any of them ever owned a motorcycle in their life because the company always owned a couple. Testing, product development stuff. And so, which was basically an excuse to own motorcycles without having to buy motorcycles. And then they would just ride those. And they had a little fleet of like 4 of them sitting in the corner of the factory. I'm like, well, that's nice.
R&D.
Yeah. And of course, they're just full-blown race exhaust systems on them. Like, hey, see this whole exhaust system, including muffler, weighs 3 pounds. You're like, Jesus Christ, how? Oh, we're using this new thin-walled titanium. Whole exhaust, front to back titanium. They were doing that in the early 90s. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, how much do they cost? And they were like $1,000 30 years ago. But the whole motorcycle's $5,000, type thing.
Money.
It's like, yeah, but bolting it on would also give you an extra like 18 horsepower or something like that, which that's a lot on a bike.
Yeah.
You could probably transfer it over to your next bike.
That would show it's Amanda's hair in the 80s. Oh. You know what? That is plausible because I somehow ended up with a copy of a yearbook the year after I graduated high school. Long story. Anywho's, but that would mean I would also have my sister's grade 9 photo. I think I found the thumbnail for Halloween. Oh, she would be livid. I gotta find that. I wonder what that's still in a box somewhere. I have no idea because that would be with my yearbooks, wherever the hell they are. Which ironically, I think I have every yearbook except the year I graduated. Perfect. Not that I really have any need or desire to look through one. Do we have any questions in the chat?
No, I'm just reading Tom's comment here about his gift of the titanium Apple Watch.
Yeah, we're pretty much into Halloween. Halloween crap was out before Labor Day at some of the stores.
Yeah.
So that would be end of August. I've seen the stuff. Yeah, it's pretty big.
I'd say even 2 weeks.
I was never a big Halloween person, but I'm doing it now. We're doing a Halloween show at the end of the month, folks. By the way, if a group hang, gotta have a costume. It's the only rule. Gotta be in costume. You can be a regular on the channel or not. First come, first serve. So hit a fella up to let me know. Basically RSVP in advance. So let me know. So far confirmed is myself. Because, someone's got to hit the on button, Terry, is what I'm saying. So apparently I have to be here. My sister, because it's an excuse for her to buy a new costume. I think she wants her own tickle trunk, Terry, is what I'm thinking. Because she keeps buying costumes. She wants her own tickle trunk.
Oh, God.
So, I believe Charles 75N will be dressed as a stormtrooper. No, he probably won't be. But Charles 75N, I threw down the gauntlet to him and said, hey, you're coming on, and you need to be in costumes. I don't know. You know what? I'm just figuring he's going to be wearing a toga or whatever fabric was about to go onto a guitar. And we just hope he keeps the camera above the waist.
I was just going to say your sister should then have her buddies Casey and Finnegan.
Well, she was thinking of a rock star to do, but without going in drag, basically. So it's like Joan Jett is pretty much, or Joan Jett. Yes. You don't really want to be anyone else that's famous. So it's pretty much down to Joan Jett or Joan Jett.
John, that would be a little bit against the YouTube TOS, so...
I may end up doing a Halloween party at the shop, but I have no idea what to dress up as. Haven't done that since I was 11. Dylan should... All right, Dylan. You need to go as John Entwistle. I think you got to get some big ass John Entwistle fucking Who 1970s stage attire. Be John Entwistle. I think he could be John Entwistle.
I think he could actually go as a Keystone Cop since he's got that kind of derby hat. He could do his.
Well, yeah, but he wears that hat all the time. That's the thing. Yeah,
I know, but
go with John Entwistle, or a Keystone Cop, or
Les Claypool.
Nope. Major League umpire. Hey, John.
Hey,
yeah,
John.
clickbait. Oh, he did wear the skeleton suit in concert, too. That's true. This is true.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, what are you, a skeleton? Fuck no, I'm John Entwistle, bitch. And they're like, why is Dylan so ornery? Because everyone gets his costume wrong. And clearly we need to have a seminar on classic rock at the store. Leslie West.
Dylan.
It's just you with a blazer. Yeah. I love it. That's just me in formal wear.
That's what I was saying. Like, there's a lot of stuff that Dylan already wears that can be just like, one step away from being elevated to something more kind of higher end or more dapper or whatnot.
Or just go as Ike.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You just drink Genesee beer all night and curse.
And play Telecasters.
Well, that too. Randy Price, thank you very much. Ooh.
Hey, Randy.
Who is going to be the next... Who is going to be to... Who? All right. Jason asks, who's going to the next NAMM show? God, find me. Me, unlikely. Dylan, possibly. Aaron, likely. From Albus Band. JJ, definitely.
I'm going.
Terry doubts he's going.
Thanks, Grasshopper.
Hello, Grasshopper, and thank you very much. Trev, you going to NAMM?
Probably not. The next one.
Fair enough.
Well, and the reality is there's a lot of, up in the airness about.
Well, that's the other thing. Will there be another NAMM show? They kind of announced it, but it's supposed to be in Anaheim next April, and then the next year it'll be in January again. Yeah, see, April 13th to 15th in Anaheim. See, yes, got that right. Yeah, which is better than June in California, but
maybe so, Octopus Ears, but that doesn't mean that they can't at the last minute cancel it.
The nice thing is, being that it's not in January, you have a better chance of getting there and back.
True.
Because flying in the winter.
Charles.
Hello, Herb Fireside Studio.
And yes, Dylan is liking your guitar behind you, Trevor.
Yeah, why don't you grab that for Dylan, since he's, you guys are both fans of that shaped object. Let him know what it is. Yeah. with the Fishman pickups.
Fishman's walking tuners. Yep. Prophecy.
Yeah.
Yep. Brady Price. Yep. I'm more the latter. Or the former. Whatever's last. Aaron loves them. Of course Aaron loves them. Gave Aaron a guitar. They're buddies. I'm buddies with Aaron. I am not buddies with Chappers. I have no desire to be buddies with Chappers. Randy would love to go to NAMM but hates flying. I hate flying too. I get cramps. Stuck in the seat for hours on end. Doesn't work. I'm like, I need to get up, stretch around. Yeah, just go for the hang, Tom. That's the big thing.
I always book the seat near the emergency door. You get the extra leg room. I'll open the door. No problem. I'll take that.
Patrick has a couple Explorer-shaped guitars. Nice.
I mean, and that's the other reality too. Is even if NAMM does actually go through, who's to say that the the flight prices aren't still going to be ridiculous?
I was curious about that. Doug said it actually takes longer to fly to Ottawa than to drive.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, if you don't have any traffic problems the entire way, Toronto to Ottawa, what, 4 hours?
That's crazy.
There's not a direct way exactly, but you figure airport, you got to show up like 2 hours early, you know, and then blah blah blah, yeah, you know, whatever, and hassles. No, I just drive anyway. Take the train. They got train. Train.
Meanwhile,
they got new train too.
Pearson to
we got new trains.
North Carolina in like 40 minutes.
Train. And you didn't even stop in. You flew right over and didn't even stop by. What the?
That'd be funny. What the hell? There's somebody parachuting down.
That's not that. No, we have a paratroop. I don't think we call them paratroopers in Canada, but same thing.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of guys locally that like to jump out aircraft for a perfectly good aircraft, no less. They jump out a perfectly good aircraft for no reason other than to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that, Doug. Work paid for it all. Well, that's fine. Still take train. Take train. Tom's gonna have a personal dictator just for takes dictation and puts it in the chat. What'd they say? All right. Tom's just watching on a separate screen with the chat. Hey, at blah blah blah. All right. See you, Jason. Have a good one, my friend. We'll talk soon.
See you, Lindbergh Studios. I like Dylan what he said there.
Oh, yeah, you should see the size of the parachutes we got for the moose, too. Holy shit, they're big. Yeah, they actually jump out, already mounted, out of the aircraft. Yep. Yep. No. Yeah. Maybe. I drove in one of those retrieval vehicles that pick up the shit that they throw out of aircraft, which is basically a big truck that's all diesel motor and wheels, you know, with a cab over top. That bench seat had to be 8 fucking feet long. It's just a long piece of Naugahyde, and I did not see a seatbelt in sight. I was like, wow, you could sit like 6 across in here, or someone could be going for a ride. And then it's like, what, 2 wheels up front and then 4. And then it had a trailer attachment, you know, halfway, like, so it could, with a crane, so it could pick up shit that's dropped out. And the idea is this thing could be in the desert or the Arctic. It can handle all the flavors. What they didn't include, Trev, because they were practicing, they were dropping shit at the back of Hercules, right? C-130s to those who don't call them Hercules. You know, they're practicing. At the airbase that apparently has been shut down since 1953 because it was one of those World War II air bases that's not in use anymore. But we're like, I live locally and I would say otherwise. But anyway, they just use it for training. So they're dropping shit out and we're out there programming radios in snowplow trucks for some reason. Oh, probably because they wanted to keep in contact, safety.
Yeah.
And so we wrapped up early, and they're like, "Hey, we're about to fire this up." And I was like, "Holy crap!" You know, like it's one of those you're just looking at the lug nuts, you know, and you want to go for a ride. I'm like, "Sure." So we start bombing out. You know, it was okay. It was kind of jerky and stuff, when especially driving around the compound. But then we took it off road, which is a field, and that's when I realized this thing has no suspension. And it was like a roller coaster ride, and I didn't have seatbelts or a bar to hang on to or nothing. I'm trying to brace myself. My buddy's just flopping around, and I'm just back and forth on the fucking seat. And she's driving, and I wailed into her, and she's laughing, and she had a seatbelt. No more belts. Apparently, at one time, there was lap belts. At one time, but technically, only one person's supposed to be in the vehicle. And it was awesome, though, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like driving one of those big quarry dump trucks, it seemed like. Yeah. It was like, this thing could pick up aircraft and on the back.
The little ones.
Yeah. It was fun. The runway out there is gravel, though, too, because they had to build a gravel runway out there about 20 years ago. Well, they have an asphalt one that they kind of use, but they also had a gravel one because when we helped out with the Afghanistan thing, whatever, we realized pilots weren't really trained on the gravel runways too much,
Fair
Trev.
enough.
You know? They're like, how is it different? Like, you ever driven on a dirt road? Because you're going to land on one, basically. So they had to practice. And that was interesting watching C-17s on gravel. Ooh. Oh.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. You did not. That's where you see the term FOD, flying off debris, because those turbines and you do not want to be anywhere near it because the gravel goes everywhere. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it was cool, though.
Wild, Randy.
It was cool to watch. You can watch from the perimeter fence or something, especially if you got the binoculars. Till the guy goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" You're like, "Hey, I'm just checking this out." And you say, "All right, you're cool." Or not. Or not. What do you got now? Oh, it's probably someone saying, "Hey, it's about time." Yeah. That's always just like, wait, someone saying something? He's like, "Yeah, I am." Okay. So anyways, that's the story on that. Any more questions before we wrap things up? Because we've already gone over an hour, 28 minutes. We got 49 people watching, and 3 people fell asleep. So we actually have 46 people watching, and 3 people currently have a handheld device playing the live stream. But there's actually sleep. Oh, an SR-71. That's cool. They're cool. Tom's using all the emojis. So coming up this Sunday, we have Charles Green hanging with us.
Always
telling
fun.
tales. Always fun. Always fun. And then the Sunday after that, we have the legend himself, Big Hoss, coming on. And then after that, I don't know. I haven't booked that for yet. There is a soda pop tasting that will come out this week. I don't know what flavor it is because I haven't checked. We can have it as a surprise, or we can let people know. I vote for a surprise because then I don't have to do anything.
If my math is right, the third one is Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Well, there we are then. That just makes sense, actually, Trev. Perfect. Yes. So, which apparently it's my sister, myself, and Charles.
I'll be here.
And apparently Trev. There we go. So Trev's going to have a costume of some kind. He's going to talk with an accent, pretend he's JJ. No.
Come up with something. Skinify skinny?
Yeah.
Skinny beard?
I'm not seeing anything more. Wow, I'm losing my voice a bit. Great. All the more reason to wrap things up. Glad you enjoyed it, Guitar Man 45. Excuse me. There we go. So he's been Trev. That's been Terry. I've been me. You've been you. You can show up as Richard Sanchez. Yes. Yes.
That'll be awesome.
We've been Canucks with guitars and turkeys and guitars, and guitars with turkeys, and turkeys with guitars, and Canucks with guitars. That's a guitar, and that's a guitar, and that's almost a guitar. It's just about a guitar. And that's not, that holds guitars. That's stuff that you plug guitars into. And anyways, I'm just dragging it out because Terry has to pee. That's why I'm doing this. So, there we go, folks. Hold those doors open. Let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic because she's real. I think she even watched a bit last night's show. Probably not. Anyways, have a good one.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you, Dale.
Don't litter.